Alright guys, so I'm going to show off some of my stuff from Denver and then also Chicago because they were so close together. I didn't want to do two recap videos. I figured it would be easier just to wrap up in one. I know it's a little bit after Chicago now, but I did have to get back. I did have to get situated and everything like that. So for the first little portion here, let's go to video and video. I've got some prize packs here. This is what I used my ticks on. Was a couple of from the vault, or not from the vault, some Ravnica remastered collected booster packs, and then I have some artist packs that I picked up while I was in Chicago. I have 4 of the RK Post ones, 2 Mark Poole ones. He signed these ones, which was dope, and then 1 from Jeff Lubenstein, which is open because he had redemptions in them. So I will show you the item that I got via redemption because I did hit one of the redemptions in here. So let's start off with opening this stuff up and show off what's in the Lubenstein packs. We got an aluminum clue token with it's numbered 158. This is really cool. I like this. It says Magic Con Chicago 2024. An aluminum construct token, MTG 30. This looks, it's very reminiscent of Battletech, which is really cool. Dog, zombie, treasure, a ruck, pest, knight, goblin, elemental, another construct, beast, and a Boo MTG 30 token. These ones are all the paper ones with the Lubenstein token back. Some of these I probably have already. Jeff always likes to give me extra tokens and stuff whenever I'm at an event. He just, out of all the artists and whatnot, like I have a lot of artists that I see on a regular basis and I've become pretty friendly with, but Jeff is just fantastic. He's always awesome to see. Him and RK Post being my favorite artist. Let me slide over just for a second and grab something. Quick back in frame. This is the out of the redemption, this is what I ended up getting. This is a miscalculation print, which this was a blast to walk around windy Chicago in the snow and sleet carrying, but you can see it's signed by Jeff here, and this is dope. The redemption was for any of the prints, and I decided that miscalculation was definitely the one that I was going to grab, just because Karn is in the art. I'm such a huge Tron player, and Karn's one of my favorite characters and whatnot, so I picked this up. This hopefully will get framed and end up on the wall behind me so that you guys don't have to stare at a blank empty wall anymore. But that is neither here nor there because I am always working, always busy, always doing stuff. So unfortunately that's going to have to be at a later time and a later date to do that. Let's get cracked into the rest of these artist packs. The rest of these I have not opened, and I told Mark and I told RK Post that I would take photos of anything super cool that I got and post those on the shop's Instagram, and I would tag them in it and whatnot. So let's start off with the first Mark Poole one. We got a Sapperling token, construct, a fairy rogue. It's a old school style one because I know these are his newer style ones. The elf warrior. We got an energy. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe these are the old ones and these are the new ones. We got a shooting star swamp that's shadow signed. A dwarven weaponsmith that's shadow signed. That's an artist proof. That's dope. Artist proofs of legend cards are not easy to come by. We got an acrylic knight with vigilance that's signed in purple. I might have to get him to add a add a shadow to that. That looks really cool. I really like that. And then an aluminum storm token. That's really cool as well. The storm really shimmers on that. The purple looks really good on the signature as well. I really like the knight. The knight's dope. And I'm seeing this stuff for the first time. I didn't open these ones while I was in Chicago. I knew that I was going to make a video when I got back, and I was going to open this stuff. So let's open the second one here. Alright, so we got a cleric, an assassin, a goblin. That's a cool goblin. I dig that goblin. We got rhino. Hell yeah, I love rhino tokens. I'm going to start playing rainbow rhinos in modern for the competitive scene. Shark. We got another shooting star swamp. This one's an artist proof. That's dope. I love artist proofs. And then the same as shooting star mountain. This one's a regular one. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that blood token. That blood token is crazy cool. The acrylic. And then this, that's the, I want to say it's Double Masters 1, the box topper exploration. That's really cool. And the gold works really well on the signature there. He did a really good job on this. This art is really fantastic as well. I can't tell what I like more, the blood token or the exploration mini aluminum print. I really like these aluminum prints. I think RK Post was one of the first guys who started doing them, and God, they're just so fantastic. They really show the art and whatnot of the cards off really well, and then it brings this extra light to it, because like you want the foils because it really helps all the art and the colors pop really well, but the foils tend to bend and be kind of crappy and whatnot. But those look really cool. Those are really great. And then of course I'll probably end up putting these back. In fact, I'll just put them back in here real quick right now, because he signed the packs, so I'm gonna keep the packs and put some stuffs back in here. God, he really jams these. Also, I'm gonna tag Mark in this. Mark, you charge way too little for your artist packs, putting proofs and everything in them. I mean, these were $50. Yeah, $50, and with artist proofs and the shadow sigs and whatnot, the math on like the acrylic, like the tokens and everything, like yeah, sure, it makes sense, but like once you put an artist proof in there, basically buying these packs is buying the artist proof, sometimes for less than what the artist proof by itself goes for, and then it's also signed and whatnot. It's crazy. We got a couple of these from RK Post. This was the 10th time that he did this. At 38, 96, 80, and 73. I can't remember which one I had RK Post pick, but we're going to open these and see what's in these. These are just like his last couple of them. All right, dope. We got the Chicago Con bird, his detective token, and then we have the 3 Chicago Con tokens that he did. These are this is a clue, the cat, and then the dog clue as well, and then the detective bird. So he did these for Chicago, but so he included a full set in them. So I'm going to end up with 4 sets of these. But then he also threw an aluminum randomized in. So let's see if we can hit a full set of the aluminum ones. Goblin token from Eternal Weekend. Goblin Shaman from Minneapolis. This is one of the Patreon tokens. I have these already. These are dope. The Knights. This is an old school Vampire Knight. And then an old school bird. And then a rigid Hoot Sites. This is cool. That's a dope artist proof. Let's see what's... No luck on hit us on the back on a sketch. But this was really dope. And then we got a Squirtle. This is the JPN acrylic tokens. These are the 1/3 elementals that Master of Waves makes. So we'll stack this stuff off to the side. Rip the next one. See if we can put a full set together of the Chicago Con tokens in aluminum. If not, I'll have to send him a message and be like, hey, I need a dog. Oh, speaking of which, there's a dog right there. The numbers aren't going to be all the same one, which is fine to me. But we got a dog and a detective. So again, the 3 clues in paper, the 3 con ones in paper, a goblin shaman, the knight. Got a vampire and a bird again. Coral Merfolk, 29 out of 60 artist proof. And then this is I know it's a Studio Ghibli, but I'm not sure what token that is. It doesn't have a PT, so I'm sure that it's something along the lines of... Oh, you know what? It's a food. Right here, small in the text box, you can see a 3. It's really hard to see it, but there's a little 3 in there. So I'm going to assume that this is a food token. That's fucking cool. I always love any time that I get anything from Arcade Post, especially when it's some dope stuff that I just don't have yet. Alright, we've doubled up on dogs. Oh. This is... Oh, it's stuck. Alright, that's cool. We got a jet token. A food token. The knight again. We got a kraken. An elemental. We got foil artist proof. Voice of All, 16 out of 50. And then a Pikachu. This is a rat token, a 1/1 rat token. That's dope. I dig that. This is really cool. Add that to my collection of tokens. I like that things were a little bit different in that pack. And then last but not least, for artist packs, and then I'll crack into my prize packs from the wall. What? Where's the aluminum? Oh, it's back here. Damn, we got 3 dogs. I gotta shoot him a message and be like, hey, I need a cat. You gave me 3 dogs. Clue, detective. This one's a jet again, a food. That's cool. The construct, this is the Patreon construct. We got a Darth Vader elemental and the vampire. Another Core Merfolk. This one's 30 out of 60. No sketches on the back this time. And then a 1/1 cat. I think this is the lifelink cat. But this is dope. That Vader's cool. The 1/1 elemental for Vader. Damn, I was hoping that one of these dogs was going to be a cat. And then I would just have the full set. But I'm going to have to shoot him a message and be like, you triple down on the dogs. I got a Cerberus here. and no cats for these bad boys. I'm sure that he'll have one. I could just shoot him a quick message and be like, hey, I ripped the packs. I'm short a cat. Let me get a cat aluminum token from Chicago, and I'll just pay for the shipping and for the token and everything like that. He's really dope. He's really cool. He's always really nice to me and everything like that. He asked me next event he would see me at, which I think the next event that I'm going to do is the Laughing Dragon event in San Francisco in, like, I want to say it's in April. I got a really good homie of mine that I haven't seen in a while who lives in San Francisco and wants me to go out and play in the event. And yeah, I mean, it's a short trip. I get to stay with him, so I don't have to pay for a hotel or an Airbnb or anything. I get to play Modern, which is like one of my favorite things to do. I'm kind of iffy about Standard season right now. I'm like trying to find my bearings on like what I want to play. That being said, like, you'll get a little bit of recap, but I borrowed cards and whatnot to play in Chicago in the 75K, and I have since given all that stuff back to everybody. So I'll talk a little bit about my matches and whatnot, because I have all of that linked to my Melee still, so I can talk about like how my matches went down and card choices, and I have the deck lists and everything. So I'll just put the deck lists in the comments of what I played. There'll probably only be like 2 or 3, because I don't think you guys are worried about like seeing my side events that I played in. And anybody who watched my Denver video before I left already saw my Tron list and that I played in the main event, and I did not change it. I didn't fly with extra cards. I locked my list in that night before I left. All right. Let's 1, 2, 3 token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Narcomoeba, Golgari Guildgate, Golgari Signet, Bloodfray Giant, Golgari Guildmage, Experiment 1, Cures Daybreaker, Forced Landing, Gobhobbler Rats, Titanic Brawl, Foil Retro Legion Warboss, Borderless Stomping Grounds, Retro Ghost Away, and a Foil Blazing Archon. Alright, it's 4 cards, not 5, so I don't have to go that many deep on the... Foil Retro Condemn, Retro Golgari Thug, Retro Drift of Phantasms, Foil Alazov Guildgate, Is It Guildmage, Sunder Shaman, Homing Lightning, Merfolk of the Depths, Dogpile, Keymaster Rogue, Mephitic Vapors. We had a Foil Retro Prime Speaker Zagana. Fucking Tomic. God. You guys, from watching me open the case, you know how much I hate that card. Pith Needle and a Yeva. And then the last one. You need something good out of this stuff. Gruul Guildgate, Fate's Feathers, another Gruul Guildgate, yay, Boros Guildgate, Ultimate Price, Boros Guildmage, Sunhome Stalwart, Demolish, Mugging, Radical Idea, Keen Apparition, Foil Retro Massacre Girl. That's cool. Anime Lord of the Void. A Bob. And a Stitch in Time foil. Well, we did pretty awful out of the prize packs. The Stomping Ground's not bad. The Lord of the Void, I think, has a little bit of value. Dark Confidant has gone to absolute shit and bottomed out. Massacre Girl is like $2-3. I think this Prime Speaker's like $1. The same with the War Boss. This stuff all here is basically worthless. Tomic is in our bulk box in the shop, so screw him. Man, our tokens are even medium. At least there was a goblin. Everybody needs goblin tokens constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You need the gobbly gooblies. All right, I am going to take a quick break from this. The boys are ordering lunch. They should be back with everything. I'm going to come back, and then I will do another portion of this, talking about the decks and whatnot, probably later tonight. All right, guys. Another portion of the Denver and Chicago recap video. Before I get to talking about the decks that I played, anybody who watched my lead up to Denver video knows that I played Tron in Denver and knows the deck list and everything there. But I'm going to show off the signatures and stuff that I picked up at both Denver and Chicago. You guys saw a little bit of the stuff from Chicago with the artist packs and stuff like that. But I do have like some tokens and some other stuff that I picked up and some signatures that I picked up. So let's click over to here. So I'm going to do the stuff from Denver real quick, just because that happened first. So thought I had more stuff by Randy. I do have more stuff by Randy, don't I? I do. They're right here and right there. This got mixed up in the pile. First off, a couple things by RK Post. Oh, excuse me. My last Morphling to finish my playset out. Something that I'm going to end up playing in pre-modern. I don't even know if I'm going to end up playing 4 of them, but when in Rome. Avatar Hope. Playset of Dust Elementals. A Torchling. And a Necroplasm. Necroplasm's starting to get play here and there in Yawgmoth in Modern. But other than that, this is just more stuff to add to my RK Post signed card collection that is ever growing. And then Lucas Graciano, I got a bunch of stuff signed by him. I got a few things signed by him in Atlanta back in December, and I just kind of finished off the stuff. First off, playset of JPN Vexing Devils. I think they look really cool. 5 Quakebringers. I don't know why I got a 5th one signed, but there was a 5th one in my box, so I said fuck it and signed it, got it signed. A pair of Retro Dams. Slide some of this stuff off to the side, but keep it in frame as well. 6 Rending Volleys, because you can never have enough Rending Volleys when you play Pioneer, and Pioneer season is coming, and I'm sure that I'm going to play something with red in it, unless I play some sort of mono green pile, because I also like mono green piles. Playset of Midnight Hunt Blood Tithe Harvesters. I picked these ones over the regular ones or foils. Definitely don't like there was a showcase one, I believe, and I was just like, but the black and white ones look great. His signature in gold with the fading gold frame around them looks really dope. And these will probably end up with the Rending Volleys in some sort of pile, wink wink nudge nudge, of what I end up playing in Pioneer. Maybe with 1 or 2 of these bad boys in the sideboard, just because I'm an animal. Next up, we have some stuff that I got signed for Legacy/Vintage. Guy as Will, 4 retro borders, and then 1 pre-release promo. Because, again, when in Rome, like, why not get 5 copies of something signed? Like, is it gonna hurt? No. Am I gonna use all 5? Nah. Probably wouldn't have used past 1 of them. But that being said, these are for all the popper guys out there. No? Is that all of Lucas's stuff? that is all of Lucas's stuff. So let's pick Lucas's stuff, the stuff that I got signed by Lucas up. I was about to put Randy's stuff right in the middle of Lucas's stuff. So Randy. Shadow signed, Lauren revealed, foil. Signature looks really good. I think the like sky light baby blue looks really good on the foil. And I had him do the same signatures on just a play set of non-foils. There's a good chance that I end up playing at least one, but probably a full set. I'm leaning into Domain Rhinos for Modern Season coming up. And by Modern Season coming up, I mean for getting ready for Dallas possibly queuing into PT Modern Horizons. These are for the popper guys. Muvari Acid Mosses. They're dope. I've had this set for quite a while. They're a blast to play. That card's super good. I wish Ponza was a little bit more... You know what? I'm glad the Ponza's not a little bit more better in Modern. Some retro Dark Blasts, thanks to Ravnica Remastered. We got retro ones. So I got some non-foils signed in black. I got some foils signed in gold. And then anybody who remembers, I got some Crime and Punishment signed back at Dallas. Well, I got some more Crime and Punishment signed in Denver. So now I think I'm up to 6 Crime and Punishments, just in time for them to reprint Crime and Punishment. But I think that my OG non-foil shadow sign ones are cooler than anything that they're going to print, including the borderless ones and stuff like that. So, screw you, WotC. Reprint everything into the ground, game pieces, you suck. Yada, yada, yada. We did it. We found the last German sleight of hand and got it signed. And I don't know where my other ones are. They're in my Phoenix deck from Atlanta, and I'll have to find them and whatnot, but I thought I would never finish the playset, and I finally get to. Thank you, Phil, so much for that. On to the last signatures that I got in Denver. Pair of box topper foil surgical extractions in gold by Thomas Baxa. 3 zombie infestations before anybody says where's the 4th one. Nobody ever plays a 4th one in Modern, so leave me alone. This I thought was cool. It's a foil Swarm Yard from TSR. Got him to sign that Shadow. And then another Shadow Terminate in red black. And then my Shinka, the Bloodsoaked Keep. Ignore the Planeswalker symbol in the bottom. I know it's a list copy. It sucks. It is what it is. Shinka's only fringe played in Scam anyway, and Scam's really kind of fallen off even though it's the top deck. Alright, so on to Chicago. I basically spent my entire weekend in lines in Chicago, and I'll get to that later on. But I have a ton of signatures. But outside of signatures, I do have some cool stuff that I picked up. So first things first, I managed to get a Ponder from the wall, from the merch wall. So you could only get these if you spent so many dollars at the Pro Tour or Chicago Con merch booth, buying like shirts and stuff like that. I managed to get one. It is a non-foil. I was not going to get back in line and look for more stuff. They were basically, by the time I got through the line, sold out of everything that I wanted anyway, which really sucks, but it is what it is. And then this was a gift from a buddy of mine who was playing in the Pro Tour. This is not 1, not 2, not 3, but a full play set of Bubble Smugglers with Pro Tour draft stamps. So it is unfortunate that they are not all the same stamp, but they use different stamps for different packs as the packs come through and whatnot. So like pack 1 has a stamp, pack 2 has a stamp, pack 3 has a stamp. But he drafted a full set of Bubble Smugglers. He did pretty well. Brennan Deio. If you go to YouTube and you go to play MTG, he actually has his round 7. His round 7 match against Matt Sperling is up. Figured I'd pull the video up just so I didn't butcher his last name, but I'd rubbed shoulders with Brennan here and there at events in the Tampa Bay area, but this last weekend or so in Chicago was the first time that I kind of got to meet and hang out with him, and he's a really good player, really, really good player, and also a really cool, really nice dude. We got along really well, which was dope. If it was going to be a situation in the Airbnb where I wasn't getting along with one of the people that are there, I would be a little upset, and it would kind of suck. But it was a killer weekend, and I wish that everything would have been a little bit better, but we did have a good weekend there. That was our thing all weekend long, yelling throughout the hall and in the Airbnb. At one point in time, he yelled "shut the fuck up" from the bedroom because he was trying to sleep. Getting into Chicago, we'll talk about some of the signatures that I got in Chicago because, again, like I said, I spent most of my time in lines in Chicago. I played in the 75K. I'll talk about that. And I played a vintage event, which I will talk about as well. But for the most part, the majority of my weekend was spent in just artist lines all weekend long. So let's start with what I have on top here. Victor Mendez. I got my Llanowar Elves signed because I played a lot of green. I queued playing green and whatnot before they banned Karn, so I thought it was fitting to get my elves signed. And then, speaking of elves, my reclaimers. So I got him to sign my pre-release promo in golds, and then my Russian non-foils in green. These flex anywhere from 3 to 4 copies in my 12-post deck, but I thought that would be dope to get them signed. And then the glare's probably going to suck on this, but I got him to sign my Goblin Welders, which are foil, my pet project of painter in Legacy. I'll never be able to foil the deck completely because I play the Rakdos variant with Badlands, and yeah, I can't get foil Badlands, and I can't get foil City of Traders. Well, I can if I want to spend 40k, and I don't want to spend 40k per Badland or per City of Traders. So, but my welders, I got those signed. This was Alex Branwyn. It's the only thing that I got signed by her was the Phyrexian language Dismember. I only had one, so I only got one signed. But it looks good. Her signature is really cool. I got her to sign it in the neutral area. She was signing everything right across the text, and I was like, can you sign it in the neutral area just so that you can still see all the Phyrexian text and everything? And she's got a cool little signature. This was another singleton signature. Leon Turker was there, He hasn't done a lot of cards, but one of the cards they did was Cityscape Leveler. And of course, me being the person that I am, I play a single copy in Tron, in Modern, and it's foil, and I was like, hey, I need you to sign this card. Got him to sign it in gold, because I'm extra and flashy like that. His signature looks really good. So, yeah, that was dope. I didn't get a lot of cards signed for Tron. My biggest goal was to get stuff signed by Chris Ran, and his line was basically impossible to get into. I spent like 3.5 hours standing in line to get in line for his signature, and then I spent another 2 hours in line and was like, well, I have to fly home, and there's still like 15 people in front of me, so I guess I'm leaving. Aaron Miller, I got some Chain to the Rock signed, I got a Cursed Totem signed, and then for my Tron deck, I got another Cursed Totem signed, this one in gold. I like to be consistent in signatures that are going to be played. So all of the signatures that you notice, the welders were red. All of the signatures for everything that goes into my welder deck is in red. Everything that's going into Tron is signed in gold. So on and so forth. Mark Poole, I got a couple of Howling Minds signed. 3 of the schematic retro borders and 1 of just the retro borders. I have a cheeky old school, like pre-modern style deck ready for these guys. I'm trying to get the pre-modern scene in the area up and running, but it's not going as well as I wanted it to. So if you're in the Pinellas Park, St. Pete area and you're into pre-modern, come to the shop and talk with me, because maybe we can figure this out. On to Mark Teeden, a set of schematic foil defense grids, and then a pair of regular defense grids. And then on to something that is both a pickup and a completion thing. First things first, this Mana Crypt looks really weird. Well, it's shadow signed, but then it's also altered. I got him to change the language on the Mana Crypt to German. Mana Crypta. Because this is my Soul Ring, which is also shadow signed and is German. And I've been looking for this fucking thing for so long. And I finally found it in Chicago. Yes, this is a foreign black border German Mana Vault, which I also got shadow signed. Yes, the Mana Crypt looks really kind of weird with the altar, but Mark's hand is not as fine-tuned as it used to be. I like it. I like that all the names are German so that the set matches, because you can't get the Mana Crypt in German. It just doesn't exist. Unless you want to get the new one, and the new one doesn't have a retro border, and it's also not drawn by Mark. And I'd rather have this with him altering the language and doing a language swap for me. I might, in the future, when I see Mark again, see if he can tidy it up a little bit. Just make it a little tighter. But he did it pretty quick in line. And I'm more than happy with it. My goal was to have the set of 3 rocks all in German, all original print, all shadow signed by Mark. And funny enough, I had only had the Soul Ring and the Crypt just signed plain gold. I was so excited to get the Vault signed and got it shadow signed that I realized that I had only single signed these. So I had to get back in line and have him add shadows to these signatures, which was fine. I like Mark. He's a really nice guy. His wife is super sweet. She's one hell of a saleswoman too. She was really pushing the acrylics and the aluminum prints and stuff like that. And I was like, I have to fly home. I don't have space for any of that. When you guys are closer to Florida, I'll buy stuff. But she was super sweet, and she was very nice. The line was technically closed on Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. Either Friday or Saturday, the line was technically closed, and she was like, "What do you want done?" And I was like, "I really just want this card signed," and it was the Man of Ultima. And she's like, "Mark can squeeze a shadow signature in for you, no problem." Alana Danner, her line was absolutely insane in Chicago. It basically was full and capped and queued as soon as you walked in the door. But her manager or friend that she had working with her, I assume it was her manager, is the dopest of dopest goats. I was waiting in line, and I had about 20 minutes before my vintage event was going to fire, and I walked over to him and I said, I stepped out of line, had somebody hold my place in line in case I needed to get back into it. Stepped off to the side where it was just purchases for mats and prints, no signatures, and was like, look, dude, I got like 20 minutes before I have to be at my event. Is there any way that I can leave cards with you and just pick them up at the end of the day or tomorrow at some point in time in the weekend and just have some stuff signed? And he was like, what do you got? And I was like, I have these 10 cards. And he went, 10 cards? I got you. So, foil Supreme Wheel in gold, 3 Turn the Earth, Midnight Hunt, double features in green, a pair of foil Ottawaras in blue, and a play set of foil etched retro Archmage Charms in gold. I tipped him very nice for his extra effort and everything that he did for me, and I am a little sad that I cannot remember his name, but he was running his ass off all day long, every day, and he was able to do this for me, and I really much appreciate it, because it came down to, do I want to get my cards signed, or do I want to play vintage? And as some of you guys know, I love some paper vintage, so we played paper vintage and we got lucky. Bridget Roca does not have a lot of cards, but she does have these beautiful lightning bolts. So I got not 4, but 5 signed, because one of them goes in my painter deck in Legacy. So we had to get one of them signed in red, which looks really good. Almost looks like blood. And then a set of them signed in gold, because I do play bolts from time to time in Modern, and I really like the bear art. Ah! I dropped one. No! Oh, thank God. I thought I was gonna roll her over one of them. But yeah, we do have a little bit of transfer of signature on the back of some of them, but you know what? Adds character. She was like, "Oh no, those will be dry. You'll be good." And then I had to unstick them in the Airbnb. Kieran Yawn signed a playset of Chandra Hope's Beacons for me. I picked the Chandras up in Dallas, or around getting back from Dallas, because I saw a really dope Taking Turns Pioneer list that I thought was fire, and I thought was fun as hell and cheeky to play and whatnot. And now currently I have a standard deck that I'm playing that plays 2 of these things. So I'm glad that I got them signed. Kieran's really cool. His stepson is a fucking hoot. That guy is a blast to chat with, and he's also the inspiration behind a lot of the art and a lot of the poses and whatnot. So, like, he's Jace cutting Castaway. Kieran used his stepson for that, so quote-unquote sexy Jace is his stepson. On to Dan Scott. Duretti. I got the Duretti signed in red because every once in a while I play a Duretti in my painter deck. I mix my lists up and whatnot. I play some cheeky stuff. OG foil Sickening Shoal. This card is dope. It's a cool, fun little card, and also the art on it is it's really cool. Let's get a close up of the art. It's like weird vomiting piranha situation. It's gross and it's fun and it's cool and the art is dope. Some ponders, because you can never have too many ponders. These ones are the retro ones. I think the blue looks fantastic on them. It has this transparency to it, which you can also see in my Ninja of the Deep Hours. As you can tell, these guys will probably go together. I'm going to start getting blue-black Delver or blue-black fairies for Pauper, signatured out. Crashing Footfalls. I wish that I would have paid the extra for the rainbow signature on the Crashing Footfalls, but I didn't. Or if I would have got them signed green or something cool. So I definitely have to, the next time I see Dan Scott, get him to add to this. Maybe add some sort of shadow signature or something to that. Playset of Staff of the Storytellers. This card picked up some steam in Legacy getting played, and I dig it. It's a good card, and I'm expanding my Legacy deck repertoire as far as like decks that I own and I can play in Legacy. So anytime that I can pick something up that I know that I'm gonna sleeve and play, I like to grab signatures on it when I get a chance to. A couple more things that I got signed from Eric. Champs. Some Phyrexian Crusaders. I got him to sign these in gold. Or not gold, in green. But it's like a metallic green, which looks really cool. Let's see if I can get this to pop on here. It's like a metallicized green. It's not like your typical just regular green that most artists have, just green flat Sharpies. I'll play a set of OG foil Fatal Pushes. And then this was the funnest one. This is a Phyrexian language Jin Kataxis. And the cool thing about this is I put it down on the table and he was like, "Oh, you're grabbing one of my artist proofs." And I was like, "No, I'm not." This is a magic back, but it's missing its stamp. It is misprinted. You can see the dent from the stamp, but the stamp never took. So this is dope. He was even shocked by it. And I was like, I think blue would be cool on there. And he was like, I think you're correct. So I don't know when or if I will ever play that Jin. Maybe I'll put together a mono blue Jin EDH deck, since I have some friends that are sad that I don't play EDH. On to RK Post. I didn't have much for him to sign in Chicago. I really just brought the Avatar Might. But I had a buddy that was vendoring stuff, and in that stuff that he was vendoring an Unmasked and a Phyrexian Reclamation. So I bought them and I saved them from going to a vendor, and I added them to my ever-growing RK Post signature situation. And then I picked up a bunch of tokens. Phyrexian Horror. I've been playing Urbraska's Forge in Standard, and I need a good token for that. Guess what? That's a good token. I picked up a 4/1 Skeleton, which just so happens to go with this Undercity that I have right here. He had a squirrel that I had not seen before, and I thought I had all of his squirrels. It's a Jawa, which is dope. I picked up a pair of mites. Those are Porygon mites because you can never have too many mites. An Orc Army. I believe I had an Orc Army, but you never can have too many Orc Armies. A couple of map tokens. Yeah. Nothing crazy. Just simple maps. And then I bought the last of these that he had. These are Post Malone human tokens. Oh man, I put the posties where you can't see them because my fat head. He had 7 left. I don't know what deck I will ever have that makes 7 1/1 white humans, but when in doubt, post it up. I think that I grabbed the Orc Army when I grabbed the humans, just so that I would have 8, because his like token breakdown is like, if you get to 8, you get a deal on tokens and whatnot. And then when I got back to the Airbnb, I noticed that all of these are slightly miscut. See how there's borders on some of them and then not on others on the bottom. So not only did I get the last of the postie tokens, I got miscut ones. I also bought a print of the Post Malone human token. That is at home already though. I got that from my lovely, beautiful girlfriend, because she is also a Post Malone fan, and I figured I would bring her something cool back from Chicago. And funny enough, it's signed by RK Post, so it's a Post print signed by Post, but it's not signed by Post Malone. RK Post and I were joking about that. We thought it would be funny. I thought it would be even cooler if Post Malone was at Chicago MagicCon, and then I could have got him to sign it as well, but neither here nor there, and we'll figure it out, and maybe I'll run into Posty at some point and get him to sign that as well. Let's switch the camera off of the ugly playmat area with nothing going on, and we'll talk about Denver and Chicago. So, I did not queue for the Pro Tour off of Denver. I played Tron. I felt really good about my choice in playing Tron. I want to switch Tron up and play something that's a little bit more boomer style, though. I definitely want to go up on Worm Coils and up on Karn Liberateds. Every game of every match that I saw Worm Coils and Karn Liberateds, I just blew my opponent out. I think that at this point in time, like, the ring is good. I would not cut the ring out of the deck. Karn the Great Creator is fantastic. I would not cut Karn out of the deck. But there's definitely some room for adjustment and whatnot to put more Karn Liberateds back in the deck. I think that people are sleeping on the fact of how good that card is. Kozilek's Return snapped me a couple of games. I had a couple situations where my opponent was just like, son of a bitch, what does that card do? And I was like, you can read it again, but it's in Korean, so you can get a judge to give you the oracle text, but it reads you're not going to have a good day. Every time I cast it, it was fantastic, and I loved it. That being said, with the new domain deck running around both Zoo and Rhinos, which Domain Zoo was one of my losses. Which I was a little upset about, and it tilted me out a little bit just because my opponent took easily 10 minutes to decide to double Tribal Flames me while I was at 8 life. And it really fucking pissed me off. And it put me in a really shitty headspace for the rest of the day. And I dropped another match. And then I was playing to stay live. And I have actually ran into Eli Loveman, who decided that he was going to stamp my ticket and knock me out of day 2. We had really close games. He mentioned that the games were very close. He won the match on going to 2 life with Yawgmoth combo. And finally, he at 2 life drew the Zulport Cutthroat to then win the game. So if it was one more down, I mean, even if it was a cord instead of it, like, he didn't have the mana or the bodies to cord for the win, or if it was the Eldritch Evolution, he didn't have that up either. It had to be that card, or I just untap. That was a match that we went back and forth over and over again, with him Fulminator maging the hell out of my lands and me just having backup Tron piece over and over again into maps and just being like, another map, crack the map, get the piece you blew up, play that piece for turn, keep going, and like eventually hitting a relic and shutting things down and shutting his graveyard off and like holding him in place. And then I eventually hit a Beseiju and popped the Agatha Soul Cauldron so that he couldn't Fulminator mage me using wolves and other bullshit. But yeah, that was real. Those were real close, real hard fought games. But I would have just untapped, and I had an Ugin in hand that I could have just plussed and bolted him. But those were close. They were fun. I played my 2 matches after that out just to play out. Just because I was there was no other events that were fired, and I wanted to have a solid record ending the day, and I ended up going 5-4. Anybody who tells you that going 66% win rate at an event is easy is full of shit. It's a lot harder than you think, especially in a room with 13 or 1,400 players. Going X3 is extremely difficult. I've only managed to do it twice since the COVID restrictions lifted and we had big events. I did it once in Vegas in the 1,400 man modern event on Tron. I made it into day 2 at X3. I was the only one out of all of us that made it into day 2. And then the first RC in Atlanta on Pioneer, I was, again, the only guy out of my current play group of friends. I was the only one that made it into day 2. My buddy Mike got 3rd. So he did infinitely better than all of us, but as far as like guys that I traveled with, guys that I talked to and whatnot, I met Mike after the fact through other circles of friends and whatnot. But, like, I mean, even Atlanta a couple of months ago, Crowler, Shop Judge and then Brennan were the only two guys that managed to make it into day two. And then just now in Denver a couple of weeks ago, only one guy from our play group and whatnot got into day two. It was a buddy of mine, Hugh, who was on Murktide. So yeah, it is not as easy as most people think that it is, or most people assume that it is, that you're just going to, like, you're going to go to this RC and you're just going to spike and win the event. It's a lot harder, and it's extremely hard, even other than to just make day two, is to record high enough to get your PT invite. Switching gears a little bit, still in Denver, I played some Painter in a Legacy side event on Sunday. Started off really well. I stole a win from Oops All Spells, which I should basically never do, but I had really good Game 2 and Game 3 leyline hands, and then just ran the gambit because he had to play semi-fair Magic and just didn't have the answers. I landed a Painter before he had an answer for Leyline of the Void, and then I just Elemental Blast his Force of Vigors and stuff like that. It was one match I got on the beatdown just between Fury just smashing face, and the other one I got to combo out with. Subsequently, like right after that, though, I played against Muxus Goblins, or Sticker Goblins, and that deck is fucking absurd. My opponent put like 40-something power on the table in one turn, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. I wish I had board wipes. Don't have board wipes, just die. Had a very, very close match with Red-White Initiative. We went back and forth. It was very grindy. He would Solitude something, then I would Chaos Defiler. Then he would try to Solitude the Chaos Defiler, so I would whip the Chaos Defiler out of play with a Painter, or not a Painter, with a Welder, and put a Lotus Petal into play, and then the Solitude's in play, and then I whip the Defiler back and kill the Solitude. Our games went very long. They were very grindy, and they were very fun, and I had a blast playing with the gentleman, and he was awesome. Also, the Legacy area was like fucking 10 tables. It was nothing. Not a lot of people came to Denver with full no proxy Legacy decks. Shortly thereafter, I played against a 4-color control deck with Narset and whatnot. And again, our matches were very grindy and went very long. Went to game 3s, and eventually it was just like, you either have it or you don't have it, and I just forced him to have it and played like a copy of Painter into a second copy of Painter, like with a grindstone on the table, and like welders to kind of bring things back. And it was a convoluted, there was like 7 things that ended up going on the stack, and eventually he won the stack war, and Red Elemental Blast versus Force of Vigor, or Force of Wills and Force Negations, and me activating welders in response to Swords to Plowshares and stuff like that. And it went back and forth for a little while, and eventually he won out on the stack, and then I was just gassed out at that point, and I was like, well, we're sitting here, we're going to go into top deck mode, and he hit a 4th Aerolangus and tapped out for 4th, slammed it on the table, and then cracked a fetch for a Mystic Sanctuary and bounced the 4th back to the top of the deck, and I was like, GG's, you got it, buddy. So that was Denver. I had a blast. Denver was fun. I got to see some good friends of mine that I haven't seen since they moved to Denver. Sans like a couple of days that they were in town for the holidays, which was cool. I got to stay with them. Denver's a cool city. I got to see snow for the first time in my life at 35 years old. Seeing snow for the first time. And then 2 weeks later seeing snow again in Chicago. I will say the snow in Denver was way more enjoyable than the snow in Chicago. Snow in Chicago was wet and windy and sleety and blowing into my eyes and in my face and whatnot. The snow in Denver was soft and on the ground and kind of coming down, and it was a little chilly and whatnot. I am definitely going to invest in full-length pants, though, before I do any more traveling to the north during the fall and winter months. But yeah, that was fun. So, on to Chicago. Chicago was fun and interesting. Like I said, I spent a lot of my time in artist lines and in merch lines. MagicCon is exactly what it says it is. It is a con. It is not for players. It is a convention. The Pro Tour is happening. There are play areas for Commander. There are side events going on for Vintage and Legacy and Modern. And there's a 75K for Standard, but it is a convention. It is more for people to line up and get signatures and buy exclusive play mats and deck boxes and pins and t-shirts and all that sorts of shit. It is not focused on the playing of players. For instance, my Vintage side event was outside in the opening hall area where they put the Pro Tour. They put the Pro Tour out there because then it would be quieter for all of the Pro Tour players to be playing, so that no one would be distracted or annoyed by the giant panels that were going on and people yelling and screaming as they previewed Oko. As for the fun of the convention, it was a blast. It was great. I will definitely be looking into going to more Magic Cons with a content creator badge. I did not realize that that was an option that I had to fill out for a content creator badge, and with the channel and whatnot, and with all of you guys that are fans pushing the channel and keeping the channel with a ton of subscribers and comments and likes and interactions on the videos and stuff, it shouldn't be very difficult for me to be like, hey, can I get a badge as a content creator and get into the event and hang out and do things and meet artists and hang out at some of the panels and stuff like that and take some photos of preview things and put them up on the channel and whatnot. Granted, given that it's been a couple of weeks, any photos that I took of the event that were of like cards and stuff like that don't matter because you guys see them all on Facebook and Reddit immediately afterwards. But moving forward, hopefully with that badge and whatnot, I'll be able to get a couple of sneak previews. I do want to set everything up so that while I'm at events, I'm linked to the YouTube channel and not signed into my personal YouTube, and then I can make some shorts and whatnot showing off some stuff at vendor booths or showing off some exclusive merch or card previews and stuff like that. You'll get some on the ground exclusive footage out of Titan as a whole. As far as events go, I played Jeskai Convoke, which is a variant on Boros Convoke and Standard. I was happy with the deck overall, but I flooded terribly and constantly over and over. And at X3, I decided that the flooding needed to stop. Granted, I was also told at X3 that I would not be able to prize or make day 2. Now, that being said, we all got bamboozled at Chicago MagicCon. There was payment out to top 96. Only 83 or 84 players made it into day 2 with an X or 2 record, meaning that there were a large number of a large quantity of prize pool that was not paid out, or was paid out to players that did not make day 2, that had an X and 3 record. Almost 10 spots, or over 10 spots, which, knowing what I know now, if that was the case, I would have played my last 2 rounds and tried to end the day at X3 instead of dropping and going and standing in vendor lines and whatnot, because I could have made my money back that I paid to enter into the event. That is neither here nor there, but in the future, it should definitely be brought to players' attention that there's a possibility of X3s getting paid even though only X2 is making day 2. That being said, it was a very small event. It was only 507 people, but still, that's kind of on the due diligence of the tournament organizer, in this case Wizards of the Coast and their staff, to be mindful to tell players, like, hey, at X3 you are still live for prizing, because we will not have enough spots at X2 to pay out the full 96, and we're paying out top 96. So don't get up and leave the table at X3 and drop and walk out for the day, but that's less players that they have to deal with. On to Vintage. I brought Vintage shops. I brought the stock net deck list. I didn't do anything crazy or spicy to it, really. I grabbed the last meta share top jeweled shops deck from Vintage. I could not find a Voltaic key in my collection. I played a Crucible of Worlds, which ended up being my saving grace because I had an opponent that wastelanded the fuck out of me, and I eventually slammed a Crucible of Worlds on the table off of his shops and was just like, haha, I'm gonna play all this shit again, and you're out of Wastelands. And I played a singleton copy of Sphinx of the Steelwind in my sideboard. I didn't play against a match that was relevant. The Worm Coils did enough work out of the board. That's all I did. I shaved the 4th Worm Coil for Sphinx of the Steelwind because I figured I had a Tinker in the deck. I could Tinker for Sphinx of the Steelwind and just go on the beatdown plan if that was the situation that I was going to be in. Most decks can't deal with Sphinx of the Steelwind if you land it or if you tinker into it. So there was that. Granted, that wasn't a real concern for me because I had a lot of matches that ended very fast. I had a turn 1 time vault against an opponent where I just went shop, tap shop, play Manifold Key, play Mox Opal, play Time Vault out of my hand. He went to force the Time Vault, and I was like, force, pitch, Phyrexian Metamorph, and he's like, yup, don't have a second force. And I was like, tap the Opal, tap the key, untap the Time Vault, take an extra turn. And he was like, just show me a win condition. I picked the deck up and went, there's a Saga. I showed him the Saga. He assumed that I was on Jeweled Shops because I didn't show him a Patchwork Automaton and I didn't show him a Lone Stone Golem. I downplayed it and was like, I showed you a Saga because all 3 variants run the Saga, and that's a win con. I make 2 constructs, I swingy swings. And he was like, yeah, I guess that's true. And then, yeah. I had a blast. I played vintage. Vintage is great. I love vintage. I will be going to Oklahoma in the end of July to play more vintage. Land run is coming up. Thinking. What else do we have going on? You guys just saw the Fallout video. Hoping that more Fallout stuff comes down the pipeline so that we can open more Fallout stuff. The Q&A video, hopefully, the Q&A live will hopefully happen sometime in the next week or so. Again, I don't mind answering Magic the Gathering related stuff. I just don't want it to turn into an all Magic the Gathering thing. If that is something you guys want and you guys just want to pick brain and ask me Magic the Gathering questions and ask me deck advice or ask me meta advice or even investment advice on like what cards they think are going to go up or down in price or what decks should be played and what events are coming up and stuff like that, that's cool. I'm down to do that. But the live Q&A that I'm going to do with Bossman coming up is definitely going to be something that's a little bit more financial and business driven. That being said, this video is roughly an hour for this portion, and I think the other portion that's going to get hammered into it is probably like another 20-30 minutes. So you guys got a decent wrap-up video from the two. I will put links to my deck list in the comments, or not the comments, but in the description, so you guys can look at it. Like I said, I played Tron in the main event, then I played Painter in a side event. I'll link both of those for Denver. And then played Jeskai Convoke in the main event, and Jeweled Shops in a side event. So I can link both of those. You guys could have links to all of those. Look at those. Look at my list. Look at my decision making. If you guys have any questions about why I played X card in X quantity or why I played X card over Y card or anything like that, hit me in the comments and I will reply to them as soon as I get a chance to do so. My work schedule is pretty hectic, but I will try to get back to you guys as quickly and as timely as I can. That being said, I think that you guys have looked at my face long enough. You've looked at my stuff that I bought and things like that. And I've talked into the camera quite enough for today, and I get to do it all again tomorrow as we have hockey coming. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.